Listen closely, because this message isn't for everyone. It's for the one who walked through fire and did not die in it. The one who felt the heat of betrayal, the sting of loss, the silence of heaven, yet somehow you're still here. You've been scorched, but not consumed. Wounded, but still walking. Broken open, but burning brighter. There were seasons when you thought the flames would finish you. When everything you loved, everything you built, seemed to crumble into ash. When the very people you carried through storms let you burn alone. And yet what they didn't know was this God was in the fire with you. You thought it was punishment, but it was purification. You thought it was rejection, but it was refinement. You thought it was the end, but it was the beginning of your crowning. Every tear that fell was oil for the anointing. Every betrayal sharpened your discernment. Every delay deepened your roots. You've been forged, not forgotten. Heaven didn't abandon you in the blaze. Heaven used the blaze to build you. Right now, the Spirit is saying, you survived what was meant to destroy you, and now I'm placing a crown upon your head. Not a crown of vanity, but of victory. Not of gold alone, but of glory. You are being elevated not because you avoided the fire, but because you endured it with faith. The ashes beneath your feet are becoming the foundation of your reign. What you lost in the fire cannot compare to what's being restored after it. The same flames that tried to consume you are now the light that will reveal you. God is not just giving you back what was taken, He's multiplying it, amplifying it, and announcing it. This message comes as a divine confirmation your suffering was not wasted. Every hidden season, every lonely night, every silent prayer, all of it was the furnace of transformation. And now the time has come. You are standing at the threshold of your coronation. Heaven is shifting. The crown is descending. And before this message ends, you will understand why the fire was necessary and why your name is being called in this hour. Because what happened to you was never random. Every ember that touched your life was guided by the hand of a God who saw the end from the beginning. You were not wandering through chaos, you were being led through consecration. There are fires that destroy, and there are fires that define. Yours was the latter. When heaven chooses to crown someone, it first cloaks them in fire. The flames strip away everything counterfeit the opinions, the attachments, the masks, until only the truth of who you are remains. That's what God was doing when you thought He was silent. He was not ignoring you. He was engraving you. This word comes from that same presence that walked with you through the furnace. The one who never left even when you doubted if He was real. The one who watched as the world misread your pain, calling it failure when it was formation. He speaks now to confirm what your spirit already knows. You didn't just survive, you were sanctified. The weight you've been feeling isn't heaviness. It's holiness. It's the residue of divine fire still clinging to your soul, proof that you've been somewhere sacred. When you cried out, God, why me? Heaven answered with a whisper, because only you could carry it and come out shining. Every season of silence was heaven tuning your ear. Every closed door was divine timing, locking you into destiny. And every time you thought you were breaking down, something higher was breaking through. You were being fitted for a crown that can't rest on untested heads. You see, crowns in the kingdom aren't made of metal, they're made of memory. They carry the story of your survival, the fragrance of your faith, the record of your endurance. God doesn't crown perfection, He crowns perseverance. The reward isn't for those who never fell, but for those who refuse to stay down. And now, as this word is spoken, a holy alignment is unfolding. The same God who stood with you in the heat is now summoning angels to announce your emergence. The heavens are shifting their focus toward your name. The delay has expired and the divine order is being restored. Feel that stirring within you. That's not emotion, that's recognition. Your spirit remembers what your mind is just beginning to understand. This is the hour of unveiling. The ashes that once covered you are being brushed away, and what remains is glory. This is why the battles intensified. This is why isolation felt endless. Heaven hides its heirs until the fire finishes its work. And when it does, there is a revealing unlike anything the earth has seen. So listen closely as we continue. Because what's about to be unveiled will make sense of everything you've endured. The prophecy that carried you through the flames is about to speak. There comes a moment in every divine story when heaven speaks not through whispers, but through fire itself. The prophecy that hovered unseen above your life has now reached its appointed hour. What was once spoken over you in silence is being broadcast in the Spirit. The heavens are declaring the season of testing has fulfilled its purpose, and the mantle of glory is descending upon you. For a long time you carried promises that felt too heavy to hold. You wondered if maybe you misheard, if perhaps you believed too deeply, hoped too boldly. But the truth is, every promise was planted in the soil of your suffering, and the fire you endured was heaven's sunlight forcing it to bloom. The prophecy is this: God is crowning the survivors, those who stayed when others fled, those who kept worshiping when the music stopped, those who walked through flames and emerged with faith still intact. You are among them not by accident, but by assignment. This crown is not a decoration, it's a declaration. It announces to the unseen realms that you are no longer the same. The fire didn't just burn what was external, it refined what was eternal. You are now radiant, with the light that cannot be extinguished, the light of one who has encountered God and lived. In the courts of heaven, a shift has already occurred. Scrolls that carried your name have been unsealed. Angelic messengers are being dispatched to realign what was scattered. Places where you were once overlooked will now open their gates to you. Relationships that broke under pressure will be replaced by divine connections ordained to carry destiny. The smoke of your suffering has become incense before the throne, and the fragrance has reached God. Heaven is saying, you have passed through the furnace and proven faithful. Now, I will make your life a sign and a wonder. Do you feel that tremor in your spirit? That's the sound of destiny unfolding. You're entering a chapter where restoration won't come quietly. God is preparing to display His favor publicly on those who remained private in their pain. The hidden ones, the misunderstood, the misjudged, the forgotten are rising. Their crowns are being fitted even now. This is not symbolic poetry. It's a spiritual reality. The unseen world recognizes survivors differently. Your aura has changed. The light surrounding you carries the mark of divine endurance. The very things that once repelled people will now attract them because glory draws attention. When God crowns a soul, it becomes impossible to hide the radiance. But this unveiling is not about status. It's about stewardship. The crown is not a trophy to display, it's a tool to serve. You have been refined to carry authority without arrogance, power, without pride. That is why the process was painful. Heaven was preparing you for influence that cannot corrupt you. So understand this. Clearly, you're stepping into a realm where your voice carries weight. Words you speak will shift atmospheres because they're drenched in fire-tested faith. Doors that resisted you before will open at your arrival, not because you forced them, but because the flames authorized you. You'll notice unusual favor beginning to manifest, unexpected opportunities, divine reversals, long-awaited answers. People who once dismissed you will sense something different. They may not understand it, but they'll feel compelled to respect it. That's the anointing announcing itself. And yet, even as heaven crowns you, humility will keep you grounded. For the greatest sign of a true survivor is not pride in victory, but peace in purpose. You will not need to prove who you are, the fire already testified. This beloved soul is the unveiling. The prophecy is no longer a distant promise, it's a present unfolding. What was hidden is now being revealed. What was delayed is now accelerated. What was burning is now blazing with divine intention. Stay still for a moment and let that truth settle in your spirit. You made it through the unthinkable, and heaven took notice. You are about to walk in the evidence of survival, not by striving, but by simply being who the fire has made you to be. And as we move deeper, the Spirit will reveal why the fire had to come first and what spiritual meaning it carried for your destiny. Every divine fire carries meaning beyond what the eyes can see. What looked like destruction was in truth a sacred dialogue between heaven and your destiny. You see, the fire was never meant to consume you. It was meant to reveal you, to strip away what was temporary, so that what was eternal could finally shine through. In the language of the Spirit, fire is not punishment, it's purification. It's the refining forge. Where identity is proven, where purpose is clarified, where faith is tempered into unbreakable steel. You were not in the flames because God was angry. You were in them because you were chosen for refinement. Think of gold. It begins dull, rough, unrecognizable, yet when exposed to fire, the impurities rise to the surface and the metal becomes radiant. The gold does not fight the fire. It yields to it, trusting the process. The refiner knows exactly how much heat to apply and when to remove it. Too little and the impurities remain. Too much and the substance is damaged. But in divine precision, the temperature is perfect. That's what God did with you. He measured every degree of pressure, every spark of pain, every moment of silence, ensuring that you were refined, not ruined. He knew the exact moment when your heart would break just enough for His light to enter. He knew when to hold you in the flame and when to lift you out, shining and sanctified. You were never abandoned in the fire. You were accompanied. The same way the 3 Hebrew men stood untouched in the furnace, so did you. What the world saw as your end was heaven's ceremony of rebirth. You were being rewritten from the inside out. And now you carry the language of the flame, the wisdom of endurance, the beauty of surrender, the authority of one who has met the refiner face to face. That's why you've changed. People sense something different about you but can't describe it. You move with calm certainty, a quiet strength that doesn't demand attention but naturally draws it. That's the glow of divine transformation. Understand this, the fire wasn't just about your survival. It was about your sanctification. It burned away false identities, the need for approval, the attachment to outcomes, the craving for validation. It purified your desires until only purpose remained. And that's why the crown can rest on you now, because it won't crush you. Your ego has been reduced to ashes, and only essence remains. Spiritually, fire represents divine love in its fiercest form. God's love doesn't just comfort, it corrects. It doesn't just embrace, it evolves. He loved you too much to leave you unrefined. That's why He allowed what He did not, to break your spirit, but to rebuild your character. The waiting, the isolation, the loss, all of it formed the architecture of humility that can now host greatness. Heaven will never place glory upon a foundation that cannot carry it. The trials were weight training for your soul. And beyond your personal story, your fire had a generational purpose. There are people connected to your destiny who will walk in freedom because you first walked through flames. Your endurance created a spiritual corridor for others to follow. You became a living bridge. Your pain built passageways for others to cross. This is why your warfare was intense, because your purpose was immense. The greater the calling, the hotter the refining. But through it all, you remained. And remaining is proof of royalty. Look at yourself now, not through the lens of what was lost, but through the revelation of what was gained. The fear burned away. The doubts melted. The insecurities turned to smoke. What stands is unshakable faith, a radiant soul crowned with resilience. Every scar tells a sacred story. They are not reminders of pain, but of power. Each mark says, I have been through the fire, and I am still divine. You carry the evidence of God's craftsmanship. So when heaven speaks of crowning you, it's not a metaphor, it's recognition. You have graduated from endurance into authority. You are no longer being tested. You are being trusted. Let that truth breathe in you. The fire did not change your destiny, it revealed it. You were always meant to rule, but first you had to rise from the ruins. And now the deeper layers of your journey begin to surface. For soon you'll recognize the signs of confirmation, the undeniable symbols heaven sends to let you know that your crowning has begun in the unseen realm. And now, as the refining fire subsides, heaven begins to speak through signs. For when God crowns someone, the evidence does not stay invisible for long. The spiritual always births the visible, and the unseen shifts begin to echo in the natural world around you. These signs are not coincidences. They are divine confirmations, subtle yet unmistakable messages from the realm that has been shaping your destiny. You'll start to notice moments that feel strangely aligned, moments that whisper, "This was meant to be." People you haven't heard from in years suddenly reappear, not to distract you, but to witness your rise. Doors that were sealed for seasons will creak open not by force, but by divine favor. You'll walk into rooms that once ignored you and sense that the atmosphere has changed, that your presence carries authority now. One of the first signs will be a holy stillness, a peace that doesn't make sense. After so long surviving in chaos, you'll find yourself calm in circumstances that used to break you. It will feel foreign at first, but that's the mark of transformation. The fire has altered your spiritual temperature. What once burned you now refines you with ease. Then comes unusual recognition, not fame but favor. People will start to speak of you differently. Your name will come up in rooms where your feet have not yet stepped. Projects, opportunities, and alignments will seem to find you. This isn't luck, it's heaven, remembering you publicly after testing you privately. Another sign will be the restoration of your voice. You'll feel an urge to speak again, to express, create, or share what once was silenced. Where you once held your tongue in fear of rejection, words will now flow with divine precision. Every sentence will carry an unseen weight because the crown carries authority. You may also experience a holy separation, the quiet departure of people or patterns that no longer fit your elevation. Don't mourn what fades. Crowns are custom, and not everyone is meant to walk beside royalty. The Spirit will gently remove what cannot ascend with you. This pruning isn't loss. It's preparation. Watch too for repeating confirmations, numbers, symbols, scriptures, dreams that echo the same message in different forms. You'll see crowns, fire gold, new doors, or phrases about restoration appearing around you. These are heaven's reminders that the invisible realm is active on your behalf. And perhaps most tender of all, you'll sense a renewed nearness to God. The very presence that once felt distant will now feel tangible. You'll notice divine timing in the smallest details. Songs, conversations, moments that pierce your heart as if heaven is winking, saying, "You see, I never left." These are not random. They are signposts of the shift. Heaven doesn't need to shout when your spirit has learned to listen. You are aligned now, attuned to divine frequency. Every sign, every symbol is a spark of confirmation that your crown is no longer being prepared, it's being placed. So as these manifestations unfold, stay attentive. Do not rush or overanalyze. Simply recognize, give thanks, and walk forward. The signs do not come to create faith, they come to reward it. And yet, even as confirmation arrives, the path ahead will still hold hidden challenges, not to destroy your elevation, but to secure it. The crown requires courage. The next part of your journey will reveal why the testing isn't quite over yet. The crown comes with weight, and with that weight comes new warfare. For every elevation carries opposition, not because you've done something wrong, but because your light now exposes what once hid in shadows. The moment you are crowned, the atmosphere around you shifts. Not everyone will celebrate what heaven has placed upon you. You'll begin to notice subtle resistance, not the loud storms of the past, but quiet tests of character and humility. The enemy no longer attacks where you are weak. He now attacks where you are strong, hoping to twist your confidence into pride, or your discernment into suspicion. These are the hidden challenges of the crowned. One challenge will be misunderstanding. People will see your glow, but not your grind. They'll assume the crown was easy, not knowing the fire you walked through to earn it. Some will question your authenticity. Others will distance themselves, unable to handle the new anointing on your life. Do not waste energy explaining what heaven has already approved. Let your fruit speak when your words cannot. Another hidden challenge will be loneliness at the top. The higher God lifts you, the fewer people can breathe your altitude. It's not arrogance, it's atmosphere. Some relationships were designed for your wilderness, but not for your throne. This can sting, but understand God removes what cannot handle your next level, not to isolate you, but to insulate you. Then comes the temptation of comfort, the urge to rest in the reward and forget the refinement. You'll feel moments where ease calls louder than purpose, where the softness of success tries to dull the sharpness of obedience. But crowns aren't worn in slumber. Stay awake. Stay faithful. The same discipline that sustained you in the fire must now sustain you in the palace. You may also face spiritual fatigue, the aftershock of battle. You've endured long seasons of warfare, and now that peace is present, your body and soul might feel weary. Rest, but do not retreat. The crown isn't a finish line, it's a beginning. Learn to rest with God, not away from Him. Another subtle challenge will be the mirror of identity. After fire and favor, you'll ask, who am I now? The answer: you are who you've always been, only refined. Don't let the title, the influence, or the applause make you forget the humility that drew heaven to you in the first place. The moment pride whispers, remember the ashes you rose from. And finally, there will be attacks on your peace. Not every battle comes with thunder. Some come as distractions disguised as opportunities. Guard your spirit. Not every open door is divine, and not every hand extended is holy. Pray before you step. Seek before you speak. The crown will attract both angels and imitators. Discern which is which. Do not be afraid of these challenges. They are not curses. They are confirmations that you carry something worth contending for. Every great destiny attracts opposition because every crown carries authority. But remember this, the same God who brought you through the fire will cover you in the fight. You are not entering this season alone. The crown may draw battles, but it also draws angels. And as you walk through these hidden challenges, heaven will not leave you guessing. The next words will carry divine instruction, clear, powerful steps to anchor your spirit and guide you as you wear what you've been chosen to carry. Now that you wear the crown, you must learn how to walk with it. For the crown isn't just a symbol of victory, it's a responsibility, a divine calling to live differently, think differently, and move under the authority of heaven's rhythm. Listen carefully, for these instructions are sacred. They are not rules to restrict you, but keys to preserve you. The same way gold must remain pure after it's refined, your spirit must remain anchored after it's crowned. Instruction 1. Guard your atmosphere. Your spirit is sensitive now. You've gone through too much to allow noise back into your peace. Protect your space physically, emotionally, spiritually. Every environment carries energy. Every conversation carries influence. Not everyone who claps for you is connected to your calling. Pray for discernment and be unapologetic about boundaries. This is not arrogance, it's stewardship. Instruction 2. Stay low before God. Elevation without humility is a fall in disguise. The higher God lifts you, the lower you must bow. Worship will keep your crown aligned. Let prayer be your daily posture, not your emergency plan. The same God who crowned you can correct you, and that correction is mercy, not judgment. Remember, kings and queens in the Spirit rule by kneeling first. Instruction 3. Speak only when led. You've been given authority in your words, and heaven listens when you speak. This is not a small thing. Choose silence more than noise. Choose wisdom over impulse. When you open your mouth, let it carry healing, not harm. Your voice now carries divine weight. Use it to bless, not battle. Instruction 4. Keep the flame alive. Fire refined you once. Now it must sustain you. Do not let your spirit grow cold after the season of breakthrough. Feed the flame through worship, gratitude, and the Word. The same heat that once purified you now powers you. Let your life remain an altar, not of ashes, but of glory. Instruction 5. Move when heaven moves. Timing is everything in divine order. You survived because you obeyed. Now you will flourish because you continue to obey. Don't rush what God is still revealing. Every new opportunity must pass through the filter of peace. If you have to force it, it's not from Him. When heaven opens a door, it won't require you to compromise your character to walk through it. Instruction 6. Honor the hidden season. Never despise where you came from. Keep your testimony alive. Share it with humility, not pride. When people see your glory, let them also hear your story. Testimony births transformation in others. Your scars are sermons, and your resilience is revelation. Heaven didn't bring you out of fire for silence. Your survival is someone else's map. Instruction 7. Be generous in grace. Now that you've been lifted, you'll meet those who are still in the flames. Do not look down on them. Reach for them. Remember how it felt when you were searching for light. Speak life into the broken. Help the weary rise. The true mark of being crowned is not being served, but serving with divine compassion. Instruction 8. Keep walking forward. The crown is not a chair, it's a compass. It doesn't mark the end of your journey, but the beginning of greater purpose. You will be called to territories, untraveled assignments, unimagined rooms, unprepared. Do not fear expansion. God equips what He appoints. Move with boldness, but let peace pace your steps. And above all, Instruction 9. Remember who placed the crown. This was not self-made. This was not man-given. Heaven did this. The hand that rescued you is the hand that reigns through you. The crown belongs to God. You are simply its bearer. Carry it with reverence. Let these instructions anchor you. Write them on your heart. Speak them over your days. When storms rise, and they will, these truths will steady you like pillars of light. You have not been crowned to rest. You've been crowned to reign. And as you follow divine instruction, you'll discover something beautiful. With every step of obedience, divine protection intensifies. The next revelation will show you that heaven has not just crowned you, it has surrounded you. You are not walking alone. The moment the crown was placed, heaven assigned guardianship around you. Divine protection is not merely a promise, It's a presence. It moves like wind unseen, but unmistakably felt. Every step you take in obedience sends ripples through the unseen realm, and angels respond. There are hosts appointed to your destiny. They know your name, your assignment, your seasons. They encamp around those who fear the Lord, and you have been marked by reverence. When you survived the fire, heaven issued new orders. Surround this one. Guard their path. That is why accidents missed you, why certain attacks lost their aim, why confusion could not consume your mind. You thought it was luck, but it was coverage. You are encircled by divine intelligence, a protection plan written long before you were born. You may still feel pressure, but protection doesn't mean the absence of storms. It means the storm can't sink you. The waters may rise, but they will not drown you. The arrows may fly, but they will not pierce your peace. Every weapon formed will reveal its futility against the one whom heaven shields. And even when fear tries to whisper, "What if I fall again?" remember this. Crowns don't fall easily when they're anchored by grace. God's hand is the clasp that holds it steady. The same hand that lifted you from ashes now rests gently upon your head. When you sleep, He watches. When you speak, He covers your words with favor. When you step into unfamiliar rooms, His Spirit precedes you, arranging what you cannot see. That's why doors seem to open at the perfect moment, not by chance but by choreography. There is also emotional protection. Heaven shields your heart from returning to old wounds. You will notice you no longer react the same way. What used to trigger you now teaches you. That's healing proof. Spiritual maturity itself is protection. Wisdom becomes armor. Peace becomes a sword. You are being hidden again, but this time not in isolation, in insulation. God covers what He crowns. Until the full unveiling, He keeps you beneath His wing. Don't mistake quiet seasons as distance. They're safety. He is concealing you from premature exposure. And above all, divine assurance flows like oil over you now. You will not lose what was given in fire. You will not return to who you once were. You will not miss what heaven has prepared. Rest in that certainty. You are guarded by glory itself. Angels stand where anxiety once stood. Light surrounds you as a garment. The very presence that refined you is now your fortress. Breathe. You have entered the realm of divine security. The crown upon your head is not fragile, it is forged. And as assurance settles over you, something even greater begins to emerge: transformation. For protection is not the end. It is the stage upon which fulfillment unfolds. This is the hour where everything begins to make sense, where the ashes of your yesterday give way to the beauty of your becoming. You've waited, you've wept, you've wondered, but now, the transformation that heaven began in secret is rising to the surface for the world to witness. You are not who you were before the fire. Something within you has shifted permanently. The fears that once held you hostage no longer have keys to your spirit. The insecurities that once whispered, "You're not enough now," sound like distant echoes. You've been rewritten by grace, redefined by endurance, reborn by divine hands. This is fulfillment not just of promises, but of purpose. You were never meant to stay hidden in pain. You were meant to emerge in power. What once felt like destruction has become construction. God used the ruins to build a palace in your soul. You'll notice the change before others do. You'll feel lighter, clearer, more aware of divine timing. Old burdens will slide off naturally because they no longer match your frequency. That heaviness you once carried was tied to a season that has expired. Heaven has renewed your spiritual signature. Then slowly, everything around you begins to respond. Opportunities flow with ease. People are drawn to your peace, not your performance. Your presence becomes prophetic. It speaks without words. The way you move, the way you see, the way you love, all of it carries heaven's fingerprint. You've become a vessel of divine alignment. Transformation also awakens creativity. The divine spark within you reignites. New ideas, dreams, and assignments start to unfold. You'll begin to sense heaven's rhythm again. That pulse that once felt faint during your battles now beats loud and clear. You'll find yourself creating from overflow, not from exhaustion. That's how you'll know you've stepped into divine rest. But perhaps the most profound part of fulfillment is this peace. Not the fleeting peace of quiet circumstances, but the deep-rooted peace that says, even if the winds blow again, I'm unshaken. That's the mark of the crown's stability. You no longer chase the storm, you command the calm. Relationships will realign. The right people, those destined to walk with your renewed self, will enter with perfect timing. God will send connections that honor your calling, not drain your spirit. Where manipulation once stood, mutual purpose will stand. Where rejection once wounded recognition will now heal. And in this fulfillment, something holy happens. Gratitude flows like worship. You'll look back on the seasons of pain and finally whisper, it had to happen. Not with bitterness, but with awe. You'll understand that the fire wasn't a setback. It was the very vehicle that carried you into destiny. You'll stand in moments you once only prayed for, not trembling but glowing with quiet authority. Your voice will carry peace into chaotic places. Your hands will heal what once harmed you. Your very existence will testify that miracles aren't just events, they're people. You are one of them. And as you embrace this new identity, heaven begins to echo through your spirit. It is time to rise, time to reign, time to reflect divine glory in full. The fire was the prophecy. The crown is the proof. You are living evidence of divine fulfillment. Stand tall in it. Walk humbly with it. Shine boldly through it. This is your metamorphosis from ashes to authority, from testing to triumph, from brokenness to beauty. And as your story unfolds in fullness, heaven will not leave you without words of power to seal it. The final act of this message will release affirmations and blessings to anchor everything you've received so that what began in prophecy ends in proclamation. Take a breath. You've walked through the fire, stood through the silence, and received the crown. Now let these final words anchor what heaven has declared. Speak them aloud, if you can, for power is released in your voice. Affirmations of the crowned soul. 1. I am not who I was. I am who God has refined me to be. Let this truth echo through your spirit. Every scar is now strength. Every loss is now wisdom. You no longer carry the weight of the old version of yourself. You are light, purified, and powerful. 2. The fire did not destroy me, it defined me. Say it until your heart believes it. What was meant for evil has become your elevation. The same flames that tried to consume you have become your eternal testimony. 3. I wear the crown with humility and strength. You are not here to impress, you are here to influence. You are not here to compete, you are here to complete divine purpose. This crown is not decoration, it is destiny. 4. I am protected, provided for, and positioned by heaven. Nothing missing, nothing broken. You walk under divine orchestration. Every step is covered, every breath is guided. You are never outside of His gaze, never beyond His grace. 5. My life is a prophecy fulfilled. From ashes to anointing, from pain to power, from breaking to becoming. Everything now serves a divine purpose. You are living proof that what God begins, He finishes in glory. Final blessing. Now may the one who carried you through the furnace continue to cover you in favor. May the same light that refined you now radiate through you. May every place your foot touches bear witness to heaven's claim on your name. May your mind remain clear, your heart remain pure, and your path remain ordered. May you be fearless in purpose and gentle in spirit. May your presence bring peace where chaos once ruled, and may your words carry healing where wounds once bled. May angels walk beside you in unseen unity, guarding what you carry and guiding where you go. And may the crown upon your head never slip, for it was forged not in luxury, but in loyalty, the loyalty of a soul that refused to quit when all else burned away. You survived the fire, now reign in the light. Your story is heaven's proof that nothing can destroy what God has destined. Go forth, crowned one. The throne of your purpose awaits.